Thanks, everyone. Yeah, so I'm part of the product management team with Akamai, and I'm here to talk to you about overcoming the challenges of image delivery. And to start, I just want to make a statement that a lot of you already know to be true, which is that users are demanding these really, really rich web experiences. And that's resulted in websites which are very image-heavy. Right? And the challenge is, how do you create really high-quality images and deliver them fast? Right? Yesterday, one of the sessions that I attended, Steve Sodders was talking about the importance of design and performance, and how you want to make sure that when you're designing a great experience, you still keep performance in mind and vice versa. Because if you're able to do that, your business is going to have really positive outcomes. So if we take a step back, let's try to quantify the size of this challenge. So over the course of a day, Akamai will deliver over 750 billion JPEGs. And that number is from late last year, so it's probably much bigger now, right? So there's a lot of images out there on the web. Now, this topic isn't new. I'm not the first one to come up on the stage and talk to you about images and talk to you about the challenges involved, right? At previous Velocities, we learned some strategies to help us deal with this challenge, right? We learned about browser-specific image formats. We learned about leveraging things like source set and the picture element. But if you take a step back, there's actually a larger operational challenge. So for instance, let's say that we're designing a responsive e-commerce site. And for our site, for every single image on our page, we need to create a variant image for each one of the breakpoints we care about. We want to create different formats, different variants for each of the image formats we care about, for each one of the browsers we want to support, for each of the resolutions we care about, and for users on various network conditions, let's lower the quality so that at least they get something quickly. So that's 108 variant images that we need to create ahead of time for every image on our page, right? And it actually doesn't end there. There's more. So we're building an e-commerce site, which means we want to give users the ability to interact with our product via rich interactive product viewers. So that means we have to create the thumbnail version, the main version, the zoomed-in image. We also want to have them look at different angle shots of our product, multiply all of that by the number of products we have in our catalog, and that's a ton of images that we have to create and a bunch of images that we have to manage. And we haven't even talked about the storage implications of this. And when you look at our source code, it's pretty complex as well, right? And here we're assuming kind of simple logic. It's a very simple decision tree here, assuming that browser X, therefore send down image format Y. In reality, though, when you want to give your users that really great experience, when you want to send them the best image format or the best image in general, you want to look at a number of conditions. You want to look at the device they're on, the size of the device, the resolution, the browser, the actual color composition of the image, and take all that into account. So that decision tree is actually way more complex than we think it is. And if you take a step back just to kind of throw a monkey wrench into this whole problem, when Apple or Samsung or any of the manufacturers release their new device that has new resolutions, new device sizes that we have to deal with, we have to go back and do a lot of this work again. And, well, you get the idea. So where I'm trying to take us sort of throughout this talk is there has to be a better way. There's got to be a way where we can reduce the complexity and reduce the operational overhead as much as possible, right? Ideally, we want to get to a state where we just worry about creating and maintaining our original image asset, and on the delivery in real time, if a user comes in on Firefox, they're automatically sent the JPEG image that's tuned to the right human perceptible quality, right? Because we want the image to look great to the end user. And on Chrome, they automatically get a WebP. And on iPhone 6 Plus, a larger JPEG 2000 image is just automatically sent down to the user so that they can get a great experience on that nice Retina device. And in cases where it's appropriate, let's send them down a PNG file, right? There's cases, let's not forget about those older image formats like PNG and GIF. Those are important too. There's situations where those are actually the best image format to send down. And for every other scenario out there, the right image with the best image with the right format, tuned to the right human perceptible quality, and the best size is automatically sent down to the end user without us having to worry about creating these formats or creating these assets ahead of time, and without us having to worry about creating the logic to parse that complex decision tree. Right? Let's make our lives easier. So if this is the case, then if we go back and pivot to our example that we had, this all of a sudden becomes much, much easier. Right? This is easier for us to manage, easier for us to store, and, well, we're happy. So this is the point where I kind of pivot into the mandatory plug. So at Akamai, this is the problem that we're aiming to solve. Right? We're aiming to take that logic of the parts of that complex decision tree and put it at the edge, so that you don't have to worry about creating all these assets ahead of time. You don't have to worry about maintaining and writing the complex logic in your client-side or in your server-side code. You can just worry about creating your apps and delivering your users that great experience. So if you want to learn more or give us your feedback, please come on by the Akamai booth and learn about the cool stuff we're doing. Thanks.